Content warning. Echo can be emotionally intense experience and may not be for everyone. Echo contains themes of adult nature, including violence, torture, drug usage, and harsh language. Viewer discretion is advised. The trek to the diner practically silent compared to just a few hours ago. Aside from the nightlife, there's no screaming or shooting. The way there is fairly straightforward. Leo's route is one of the longest, so yeah. Oh, Jesus. Straightforward. Starlight, straight down the main road. However, we decide to cut through the backyards instead of using the road. Leo tells us it's the best way not to be seen if there are people around. TJ keeps close to me, wanting me to keep my arm around his shoulder as we move. Oh my god, I'm swallowing my own spit. His eyes either squeezed shut or staring straight ahead. It's like we're moving through a haunted house and he's too terrified to look in either directions. Why couldn't I just like dated the Ram? Why couldn't I just like went the love route with Carl of all people? He seems pretty chill. My goodness. No, I had to go for the manipulation. It does get too difficult to keep him that close though. Especially as we start to have to move through bushes and hop fences. I opt to hold his hand instead. In any other situation, I'm sure TJ would have been running for the hills in embarrassment, but he clings to me like he's never going to let go. We all move in silence through the bush. The quiet is actually almost as unnerving as the shouts and gunshots were. As we move under a few stray trees, I try to keep the memory of seeing the corpse strung up out of my head. There's no way a demon or whatever they said it was did that. It was one of the town's crazies, killed and then mutilated that person to convince us of their delusions. There's 4 of us now, and 2 of us has guns. We're going to be fine. We get to after only about 5 minutes, though most of it spent floundering through the brush and old broken fences. Because of the meandering, we actually miss it and had to backtrack. Cautiously, we make our way around the diner to the parking lot and immediately spot the lone van. We finally do get there. Leo jogs up to his fan, shoving his hand into his pocket. But then he freezes and stares down. Fuck. Me and TJ arrived next to Leo, and TJ let go of my hand. What is it? I ask, but I see the problem at the same time that I do. The 2 tires that I can see are brutally slashed and completely flat. I bet the other 2 are the same way. Leo puts a hand on his face, rubbing his eyes vigorously with his palms. Who did that? TJ reaches out and grasps my hand again. Kuzo moves closer to the other side of the van to inspect it. Ryan. Leo growls out his name. How do you know? Leo doesn't say anything, sitting down on his haunches as he stares at the completely destroyed wheel. Who's that? TJ asks quietly from beside me, studying my expression. I wonder if I should tell him. Probably not. If he's scared of seeing things... If him scared of seeing things is bad enough, we don't need TJ being worried about an actual person who's out to kill us. I'd actually completely forgotten about the bear up until this point. If it truly was him, then we're in even more danger than I thought. It's just another person that we saw. He was acting weird. It's all right. TJ doesn't seem to take much comfort in that, staring at the tires. Whether or not it was Brian or whoever had done a number on these tires, completely just tearing the rear tires to shreds. Kuzo comes from around the side of the van, shaking his head. Other 2 tires are the same. How far do you think we'd get on flats? Leo lets out a ragged growl, standing up back. Not far enough. You probably get to the lake before the goddamn wheels falls off. Leo stands there thinking. Should we just go back to the motel? Leo shakes his head. No, I'm not staying here another minute. I'd rather start walking, actually. To the highway? That'd take half the day. Well, we'd at least be getting somewhere instead of sitting around here. I look down Main Street towards the darkness of the lake and desert. The ominous feeling I get is overwhelming. Like I have no doubt that if we set out into the desert, we wouldn't last long at all. I don't know why. I shudder violently and TJ glances at me. He squeezes my hand and I find it funny how quickly the role of the one doing the reassuring has flipped. I think we should go back to the motel. Leo finally looks back at me and I see his expression soften. Hey, Otter, it's gonna be fine. Call me Chase. Stop calling me by my race. It's like saying like, hey, Asian. Like, what the fuck? What the absolute fuck? This is not endearing, Leo. Like, this is not a term of endearment. I know it's the same tone he used with TJ earlier. He sets his hand on my shoulder, but I honestly don't feel very reassured. TJ pipes up next to me. Carl's has some cars. Maybe he's there and we could leave with him and the car. Leo looks out towards the hilltop where Carl's house at. We can't see it since all the lights are apparently off. Maybe. If he's not there, we could just break in. I see TJ blanch next to me. Even now, he's battling the moral values versus our need to survive. I still want to go to the motel, hole up, and in there and just wait. Maybe sleep. I'd give anything just to be able to lay down somewhere safe right now. Oh my god. But now with the new possible factor of Brian, I can see the benefit of getting the hell out of here now. Alright. Leo sets his jaw, narrowing his eyes. Let's go. Remember to stay close. We don't bother going off-road the way Carl's place, mainly because we just be trudging through sagebrush full of ticks, and at that point, Leo figures since Carl's house is the only thing up the road, aside from through the canyon to nowhere, no one would be driving that way anyway. It takes us about 20 minutes to get there, walking in silence up the cracked road. The only sounds are panting. I'm the loudest considering my short legs, and also that I'm probably the most out of shape compared to the others. When we're close to the mansion, I look back down towards Echo. Only a few of the streetlights dot the small town. I don't see anyone on the roads near them. I see a window or two here and there with their lights on, but no movement from within. We only hear two sounds on our track. One is a blood-curdling scream coming from the town behind us, a woman. TJ reaches out again for my hand when that happens, and I squeeze his comfortably. The next, a few minutes later, is the faint laughter coming further away that rises in pitch before fading back out. I grimace, wondering if anyone heard it, or if it just came from inside my head. No one says anything, and I don't ask. By the time we reach the mansion, I'm covered in sweat, and I keep adjusting my shirt uncomfortably as it sticks to my chest and shoulders. The garage door is closed, and there aren't any cars in the driveway. I wonder if maybe Carl's already took off. I hope he did. We stand in front of the door, and Leo holds out a hand to us, motioning to be quiet. I watch his ears poke up to full extension before he moves to the glass door, cupping both hands over his eyes to peer inside. We wait a tense moment, and I wonder if maybe he's looking in on something horrific. But after a while, Leo pulls back, shaking his head. Can't hear or see anything. Maybe he left, or he's with one of the others? Kuzo offers quietly, standing just behind me. Maybe. Leo appears to be thinking hard, then he reaches out to the doorbell with an index finger. He hesitates for a full 2 seconds before pressing it. The fancy chimes ring softly from inside. I notice Leo's got a hand on the gun, watching through the glass intently. I also notice that not only is TJ pressing close to me, but Kuzo from the other side, his shoulders slightly ahead of mine. It's almost like he's shielding me. A minute goes by before Leo tries again. We wait another minute before Leo lets out a ragged sigh. Whether it's from the relief or frustration, I'm not sure which. Considering that's what's happening, you'd think some people from town would have come here to loot or something. Yeah. I look back at the town, its few glints of light staring ominously back. I'm able to suppress my shiver this time. I turn back just in time to see Leo try the door, and to his amazement, it opens. Leo seems surprised too, and lets go to let the door slowly swing open. We all stare into the blankness beyond, and a few lights from the TV glowing in the darkness. Should we go in? Leo clears his throat. Well, we gotta get keys somehow. Leo steps inside slowly, hand reaching along the wall to find the light switch. He finds it, though the light only illuminates the foyer. The housing going from goddamn dark to slightly less goddamn dark. It's just Carl's kitchen, though. Nothing seems to be out of place as far as I can see. I start to step forward too, but I can feel TJ hesitating on my hand. I look back at him. You alright? He's staring into Carl's house, his eyes wide. Yeah, I'm good. It's probably safer inside anyway, right? TJ swallows and finally steps in with me. He saw something. Kuzo following close behind. The mansion is pleasantly cool against my sweaty fur. There's something strangely comforting about something as simple as AC still running. I sense a sense of normalcy. Leo stands here, looking around intently before moving up to the cupboards. He starts opening drawers, searching for counter looking for keys. I leave TJ to huddle on the couch before moving to the kitchen myself. Hey, can we look for Carl too? Leo pushes closed a drawer full of silverware. Yeah, give me a second. I sigh. I'll be fine. It'll be faster if I look for him while you look for keys. Leo shakes his head. Gotta stick together. I suppose another sigh and go back to the living room. Somehow TJ's already managed to fall into a doze, curled up in a small ball on the couch. How are you doing? I look over to Kutsu, who's got his arms folded, watching me closely. I'm doing okay, just kind of tense. Same here, Chase, same here. Kutsu gives one of his rare smiles at that. No kidding. Yeah. I glance over at Leo, who's staring, starting to rifle through some of the drawers full of what looks to be open letters. What's up? I look back at Kutsu. I'm just thinking about Carl, if he's here or not. I glance back at Leo. Hey, Leo wants us to stick together, but I look back at Kutsu. You want to help me find Carl? Maybe you sweep upstairs. I'll have a look in the basement real quick. Kutsu glances at Leo as well. It'll make things go a bit faster. Yeah, I think it'll be fine. I really don't think anyone's in the house. Kutsu nods towards the window facing the town. From what I've seen, people are mostly wrapped up in their own issues. Yeah, I don't think anyone's interested in looting here. Well, alright, I'll take a quick look upstairs. I smile. Cool, I'll take a quick look downstairs. Oh, and keep a lookout for keys. And with that, we both move to the staircase. I give Leo one last glance to make sure he's not watching before we both head in our respective upward and downward directions. I flip through the light switch to head to the basement, and it's only when I stare into the dark hole I'm heading down towards that I get a first inkling of fear. I shake my head, remembering what Kutsu had said. If anyone's here, it's definitely only Carl, and that would be a good thing. If we can find him, we can bring him with us, and we'll be on our way out of this hellhole, I tell myself as I bounce quickly down the stairs, wanting to get this over with as soon as possible. Now in the basement, I glance around quickly into several doors down here. A storage room, a weight room, a video game looking room. I start to realize that if Carl is here, he's most likely upstairs, and I'm just giving the basement a curiosity check. I start to rush through, not wanting to take too long in case Leo notices if he hasn't already. I reach the end of the long basement hallway, and I'm left looking at a smaller room. There's a tiny white wooden door, and I assume leads into the crawl space. I stare at it for a moment, not even thinking to bother with it until I see the white hoof prints. There are several of them, like someone came and went dozens of times in and out to crawl out to space. I look back behind myself, feeling a chill up my spine, like someone's watching me. Looking back at the prints, I notice that the little door is slightly open. Could Carl be in there? I remember that he'd been down here when he couldn't find him during his birthday party. At that moment, I catch a glimpse of something poking out the door. It's skinny and hairy and very long, maybe 6 inches in length. I stare at it, wondering if it's a Halloween decoration that's stored under here. Chase! Leo's voice is booming, the stairs making me jump at the foot of the air. I don't have time to stare at the black thing any longer, and instead stumble down the hallway towards the sound of Leo's voice. The icy glare directed at me as I moved up the stairs actually makes me cower a little bit. I'm not used to having this monolithic anger directed at me. I told you to stick together. His voice rumbles at me. Sorry, I just found something. Well, Guds did too. Carl's upstairs. What? The thoughts of the hoof print disappear from my mind immediately. You told me you were down here. Come on. More gently now, he grasps my hand, pulls me the rest of the way upstairs. I'm expecting us to turn into Carl's room, but instead we go further towards the end of the hall. I think this is where Carl's parents' bedroom is. Carl's laying on the bed looking at TJ, who's in the middle of talking to him from the side. He glances our way when we enter the room. Leo, Chase? He squints at us like he's having trouble focusing. I smile and sigh with relief. We're gonna pass over that. We're really gonna pass over that. Oh my god, I really hope Chase mentions it. He chalks substance. Reminds me of the prince downstairs. It's all over his horns, and a bit of what looks like drywall is covering the pillow around his head. What happened? Are you okay? Were you just taking a nap? Easy, Leo says to me, so I shut my mouth. TJ reaches out and grasps one of Carl's big hands. The Ram just stares at the ceiling now, looking just as confused as we are. I look over at Kudzu, who's standing a little off to the side like he did when he was trying to talk to TJ. What happened? I mumble at the raccoon, and Kudzu moves a little closer. I don't know. I just came in and I thought he was taking a nap or something. I glance back at Carl, watching as TJ starts to gently pet my forehead. But he wasn't. Kudzu shrugs. He was sort of, I don't know, he was sweating and mumbling. I keep calling his name like really loudly, and to point that Leo came up. Carl started to breathe heavily and he covers his face. I think he's crying, so I step back a bit with Kudzu and not wanting to crowd him as TJ leans over and hugs him. It wasn't until Leo touched him that he woke up. Like, really suddenly. Huh? No, I'm fine. Carl lets out a weird shaky laugh as he sits up, wiping his eyes. I was just having a really fucked up dream. Felt like I was in it for hours, man. Carl leans back on his hands, staring at the ceiling again. I had a dream that the town went fucking insane, and then I ran back here and sort of just went downstairs, and then I was gone. Gone? Where? Carl shakes his head. I don't know, a hotel or something? A few hallways that went in a circle and I couldn't get out or wake up. Carl looks back at us. Even now, I don't know if I'm dreaming. At least there's people around. Carl shakes. I'm not like, I ran out of like at this point I'm too tense to do too much accents. Like I'm like so tense right now. What are you guys doing here anyway? Actually, the town did go a bit strange. What? Really? Leo seems to hesitate, clearly not wanting to rile up Carl more than he already is. Yeah, but we're trying to leave. Actually, that's why we're here. We need a car. So what I saw in town, however long ago, that was, it really happened? Maybe. Like people were running around shooting and stuff. Leo doesn't say anything to that. Why do you need my car? What about your van? It broke down. Carl narrows his eyes. How? Listen, we'll tell you everything on the way. We just need to... I don't like that. I thought I saw a shadow over here. Like, move down slightly. We just need to get out of here. TJ picks some of the bits of white chalk from Carl's head fur. What's all over you? Carl runs a hand over his head, bringing it away to find it covered in white dust. I ran into the wall. Oh. Carl suddenly points at my arm. Dude, what happened? Huh? Oh. I lift up my arm and remember the cut that I got from the broken window. The fur is heavily matted down with blood, and the jagged cut is still oozing a little bit. Long story. We'll explain like Leo said. The Ram stares at the cut, and so I lowered my arm. It seems to be finally setting in for Carl that things are not right. I've also realized that none of us are immune to the new hysteria setting in town. Is this what it feels like for all those people living in the town over 100 years ago? I managed to think humorously to myself that I actually did do what I set out to when I started the project. It's pretty clear that it's happening all over again. So you got keys? We need to get the hell out of here and get this town some help. Yeah, I'll get them from my room. Oh my god. This is horrifying. This is so horrifying. We pull quietly out of the driveway in Carl's car, which makes almost no sound since it's a hybrid. Oh my god. Leo's driving, of course. Carl's sitting woozy, and Leo actually had to help him walk around to find the keys. I sit in the back between Carl and TJ, while Kudzu sits in the passenger seat next to Leo. Oh, I'd overheard Leo mumbling to Kudzu to sit next to him while I helped Carl into the car. Something about them needing to be able to get out of the car quickly with their guns if things went down. Leo doesn't floor it like I expected him to, but we move down the bench of the mountain and through the town speedily through. I see TJ look out his own window intently, and I can only imagine it's to see if he can spot Jenna or maybe Flynn. Dude, I don't feel good. Carl mumbles next to me, both hands on his stomach twisting as the fabric of his hoodie. I'll just puke on the floor if you have to. I don't think Leo's gonna stop. Carl leans over and puts his head between his knees, groaning. That gets TJ's attention. He starts rubbing the round's back slowly. Good thing it feels like there's nothing in me. So what the hell is going on? Where's Jenna? TJ frowns. We don't know. What happened then? I take a deep breath, trying to figure out how to explain. Well, we're not sure what's going on everywhere, but on Saturday while I was out at the diner with Leo, I go through my story as quickly as I can, explaining to Carl what's been going on. The rest of the car is quiet, so I get anxious when I get to the part about Brian and skip over it as much as I can. Only mention that he held me there for a day. By the time I finish, we're already passing the lake. Huh? So is it Sunday already? Sunday morning? Yeah, I guess so. So I was out for a whole fucking day? I don't say anything in response. What happened to you, Tej? Are you okay? Carl turns his gaze to TJ, who just nods. Yeah, I was seeing things too. People chasing me. I'm okay now, though. TJ actually does seem pretty stable now after everything has happened. Maybe taking care of Carl is taking his mind off of whatever happened to him. Either way, he doesn't expand on what he saw. Carl shivers and puts his head on the back down while TJ continues to rub his back. A few minutes of silence go by before Carl speaks up again. That feels kind of nice. Reminds me of my mom. Yeah, actually, my mom did it too. Thought it might help. Hey, I love you. Just so you know, all of you guys, I'm glad I'm not in that place anymore. Love you too, Carl. And everyone else. You too, Raccoon Man. Thanks, I guess. Yeah. I affirm my own love for everyone. Kuzo glances back at us before turning his attention towards his window. Leo doesn't say anything from the front. His focus is solely on the road ahead of him. I watch the desert whip by us for the first time, feeling somewhat safe as the town disappears behind us. But of course, it doesn't last long. What's that on the side of the road? Huh? Leo turns his head in the direction that Kuzo points. We all do. What we see changes everything from me from that point on. Ah! Fuck! Not the fucking jump scare of the tapping. Sure, things were crazy and I had a hard time believing anything was happening, but it was explainable. People like Duke, Brian, TJ, even Carl were all seeing things, but it was kind of distant thing in the way. Something everyone else was experiencing. Something I was exempt from. But now there it is. Something I can't explain right in front of me. What is that? Oh my god. TJ covers his mouth. Carl sits up straight trying to see. Leo slows down as we pass. There's my car. All of the windows shattered. And there's Duke lying a dozen feet away from the open door of the driver's seat. And there, crouching over him, is something I can't explain. Holy fuck! What the fuck is that? What am I playing? What the I'm not sleeping after this. Hairless body and limbs long. What the fuck am I playing, guys?